Japan will be kicking off the new year with their Battle Partner set. We're going to see these cards a little later in the year, but we've got our first look at some new cards right now that look incredible. I'm Jeff from InThirdPerson.com. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's take our first look at Battle Partners. This set has 100 cards before Secret Rares, and it's coming out in Japan on January 24th, 2025. And the big gimmick of this set is that it's going to introduce the mechanic, well, reintroduce the concept of trainers Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet era. This is a mechanic we have seen in the past, but we haven't seen it in a while, and it is coming back here in a big way. And also worth noting that we're probably going to see these cards as part of our Journey Together set, which is coming out on March 28th, 2025. And we should note here, as we look at these new cards, we have to think about them in the context of the post-rotation format. Pokemon hasn't announced exactly when rotation is happening, but we have a good idea of when it will be happening. It's probably around the time of the release of Journey Together, which is going to be at the end of March. And at that point forward, we're going to be playing with cards in the format of G, H, and I. So all of the F block cards that we're still using right now are not going to be played with these new cards. So keep that in mind, because there's certain synergies we're like, yeah, that would be great, except it's going away. So think about these without the F block cards in mind. Kicking things off is Iono's Tadbulb and Iono's Bellibolt. It's very important to note that Iono's Tadbulb is not the same thing as just Tadbulb, and same with Bellibolt. You cannot have a regular Tadbulb and then evolve into Iono's Bellibolt, because those are technically not the same Pokemon. So we have to go from Iono's Tadbulb to Iono's Bellibolt, and that's a little disappointing in the sense that Tadbulb here has 60 HP. That is in Dragapult range. But Bellibolt EX here has an amazing ability, Electro Streamer, where as often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic Lightning Energy card from your hand to one of Iono's Pokemon. And this is going to be amazing for power things up, like this Thunderous Bolt attack. For 3 lightning and a colorless, does 230 damage, and this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. This attack is okay. You do have the ability to knock out bigger EXs, bigger basics like a Roaring Moon or an Iron Hands. You are short of hitting something like a Raging Bolt though, and the fact that we can't attack during the next turn, kind of annoying. You can just switch out and then switch it back in, but I suspect that Bellibolt is not going to be the main attacker of this deck. I think it will be the energy acceleration for another attacker or other suite of attackers, but the ability is absolutely amazing. Iono decks look particularly strong because of the support for energy acceleration and just getting energy from the deck. Earthen Vessel is going to be a great way to get energy directly from the deck and then attach it with Bellibolt. We also have Electric Generator, where you get to attach lightning energy from the deck onto your Pokemon on the bench. Now, we don't know if all of Iono's Pokemon are going to be lightning types, but for the lightning type Pokemon like a Bellibolt, this suite of item cards is fantastic. Again, I do think that there will probably be a stronger lightning attacker for whatever this Iono deck is going forward, but we haven't seen it just yet. We could also see this Iono deck paired with some other Pokemon. Miraidon could be a good fit here to get those basic lightning Pokemon down, and there even could be an opportunity for Energy Switch here, where you use Bellibolt's ability to attach to one of Iono's Pokemon, and then you switch the energy off to a non-Iono's Pokemon. Not sure what that looks like yet, but theoretically something like that could be possible in the way that we see Regidrago pair with Ogerpon. So let's keep that in our back pocket in case we see some cards that could make use of such a mechanic. Also, here's a quick look at the special illustration rare of Bellibolt. This is adorable. This Iono deck is shaping up really nicely thanks to Wattrel and Kilowattrel. Now, Wattrel only has 60 HP. That kind of sucks, again, in Dragapult Phantom Dive range, but Kilowattrel is an amazing draw engine. You get to discard an energy from the Kilowattrel and then draw up to 6 cards. This is very strong. This is even better than Bibarel, which only draws up to 5 cards. but you have to discard the energy off of the Kilowattrel specifically, not from your hand. So it's a little clunkier, but that's why we pair this up with the Bellibolt EX. You use the Electro Streamer ability to attach an energy to the Kilowattrel, and then you can draw cards as well. So not only are you powering up attackers, whether it's Bellibolt or something else in the future, we're also powering up Kilowattrel to help us draw more cards. I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of this Iono package, and I'm excited to see the rest of this deck fill out. One more piece to the Iono puzzle is Levincia, where this stadium lets you put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. Now we have yet another way of getting energy into our hand so that we can attach it with Bellibolt's ability. This is really all coming together, and I really like this, but we have to keep in mind getting the energy in the discard pile is going to be trickier once this card is out, because Radiant Greninja is not going to coexist with Levincia. So we'll figure out some other ways of getting energy in the discard pile. Shouldn't be that big of a deal, but this is still a very strong card in the context of this Iono deck. Also means we're probably not playing Area 0 Underdepths with a Iono deck because we really want this stadium to get the energy into hand. Now let's look at what N's got going on. And I think at the core, and I could be wrong here, we haven't seen everything yet, but I do think at the core of N's deck is N Zoroark EX, where it has the attack Night Joker, where for 2 dark energy, you choose one of your benched N's Pokemon's attacks and use it as this attack. And there are a lot of cool attackers that we've seen recently that Zoroark can copy. And should also note here, we've got the ability Trade, which Zoroark GX had back in the day. Fan favorite card. You discard a card from your hand, draw 2 cards. This is the same as Kirlia's Refinement, RIP Kirlia, but Zoroark is going to get it instead. And there are going to be a lot of people that are happy to see Zoroark have that, especially in the context of this deck, which could be very cool. We have seen N's Reshiram, which Zoroark can copy. It's got 2 attacks, Powerful Rage, does 20 damage for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So there is a world where Zoroark EX can one-hit KO anything after tanking a hit. Also has Virtuous Flame for 170 damage. That's enough to take out something like a Squawkabilly EX. It could take out a Lumineon, but Lumineon is rotating and they will not exist at the same time. Another new card in the mix for N is Darmanitan. Theoretically, yes, you could play a Darmanitan deck on your own, but when you get to copy it with Zoroark, it gives you even more options in your Zoroark box, such as Backdraft, where for 2 colorless energy, really you're using the dark energy if we're playing it in the context of Zoroark, but Backdraft does 30 damage for each energy card in your opponent's discard pile against certain energy-hungry decks, like a Ceruledge, for example. Zoroark could absolutely blow that up. And then we even have a snipe attack here. Blazeball Cannon does 90 damage to the active and then 90 damage to the bench. So Zoroark kind of also getting Radiant Greninja. Now Greninja got to hit 2 targets on the bench, or they could hit the active or the bench, but also pairing this with a snipe attack here is bonkers. Now keep in mind that Darmanitan is an evolution Pokemon, so you're going to have to evolve from a Darumaka, and it is unfortunate that Darumaka has 80 HP, which is just above Buddy Poffin range. So we're going to have to keep that in mind as well. And if we want to have this giant suite of attackers in Zoroark, we kind of have to play around with our bench accordingly to make sure that we have the Zoroarks ready and room for all of the other attackers that we want access to. Sigilyph feels like a sneaky endgame tech where we can copy its Victory Sigil attack, where if you have exactly 1 prize card remaining when using this attack, you win the game. So in a scenario where you can't take that one-hit KO against a really tanky Pokemon or something like that, you could just copy Sigilyph's attack, take that final prize, and win. Also gives you a sneaky tech against something like a Mimikyu where they're walling you off, or Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon where you can't actually attack into them. You can just go and take a prize around them. Again, these cards might all be played in separate decks. There might be a Reshiram deck, could be a Darmanitan deck, there could be a Sigilyph deck, but I think within the context of Zoroark having access to a bunch of these attacks, I think this deck is shaping up very nicely, and we're probably going to see more N cards for Zoroark to copy, and I'm really excited at the possibilities of this one. Making things even better for N is N's PP Up, where you get to attach one basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched N's Pokemon, which very much sounds like a card that is going away Dark Patch, where you get to attach to any dark Pokemon from the bench. You attach a dark energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and that's going away. And because of N's PP Up, we're probably not going to see Dark Patch return, but it kind of is a Dark Patch because it's attaching dark energy to the Zoroark, so it kind of is the same, but it's different. And if you are playing a different type of end deck that doesn't rely on Zoroark specifically, this is still going to be awesome energy acceleration. Now let's move over to Lily. Lily's Clefairy EX has 190 HP. It's a Psychic. It does hit Dragon-type Pokemon for weakness, which is fantastic. And it has the attack Full Moon Rondo for Psychic, and a Colorless does 20 damage and does 20 more damage for each bench Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's. It's basically the same attack as Raikou V, Entei V, and Suicune V, but Psychic-type Pokemon now. And this would normally cap out at 220 damage, but we are in a world where Area 0 Underdepths exists, where you can play this and have up to 8 Pokemon, and now Clefairy is swinging for even more damage, potentially getting to a point where it can one-hit KO Stage 1 EXs. Helping to build out that bench on top of Area 0 Underdepths is Lily's Comfey, where it's got the Flower Invite attack, where you search your deck for any number of basic Lily's Pokemon and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. This kind of works like Precious Trolley for Lily decks, but you do have the benefit of having up to 4 Comfeys, and this is an attack you can use more than once if need be. This begs the question, though, of if we are attaching energy to the Comfey, we're not attaching energy to the Clefairy, and I'm not sure we want to lose that momentum, but maybe somewhere in the mix we throw in a Gardevoir to help accelerate energy to that Clefairy and whatever other Pokemon are in the deck. And yes, we are losing Kirlia with the refinement ability, but maybe it's a build that has more rare candies and Professor's Research so we can find the pieces faster to set up Gardevoir in a more turbo way. The other trade-off here is that by using Psychic Embrace to cover this cost, we are lowering Lily's Clefairy's HP, which is already squishy to begin with. But, yeah, again, I'm not sure if Gardevoir is going to end up being paired with Lily's Clefairy, but potentially if you are using this combo, or even not using this combo, something that can help address Lily's Clefairy's low HP is Lily's Pearl. This is the last card we're going to look at today. This is a tool card where if Lily's Pokemon has this card attached to it and it's knocked out by damage, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize card. So it's kind of like Legacy Energy, but because it's a tool, you can have up to 4 of these in your deck, and that can be very annoying if you attach it to Clefairy or any Pokemon really, and take 1 less prize can really screw up your opponent's prize mapping. I'm already liking what I am seeing from this set. I love the idea of trainers Pokemon and having all of these cards that synergize with one another. And yes, that technically isn't new. We do have ancient Pokemon and future Pokemon, and before that, Single Strike, Rapid Strike, where you kind of have the small subset of cards that synergize together. But I do love when the game does that, giving us even more possibilities in the way that we build our decks, and these are really exciting cards that are going to shake things up in the future, especially in our post-rotation format. But for now, I got to get going. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think is the best card that we've seen here in this presentation? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, I gotta get going. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on all the things: YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at InThirdPerson. You can find me on Twitch at InThirdPerson, where I stream the Pokemon trading card game every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And check out the website InThirdPerson.com for more articles and videos on video games, board games, and other nerdy pursuits. So until the next one, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.